everyone out there in the Insta world who's joining, who's coming in. Yes. Hey guys. Yes, Jacob. It's time. Hi, Alessio. Alessio from
Hat.
Susan.
I should have worn a
Hello.
hat. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Quarantined in Brooklyn. How are you?
Living that life. Yes, I understand. I'm good. It's nice to see you.
I know. I feel like I've seen you like virtually like every few days though. So
Yeah.
it's like okay. Acceptable, I guess. We're adjusting new normals.
Right? Hey,
Uh,
Alyssa. Alyssa's online.
Hi
Team
Liz. Hi
member.
Flavio. Valley.
Jacob, if you can introduce yourself, you know this game.
Okay.
Introduce yourself and where you're from.
Okay. My name is Jacob Larsen and I am from Sacramento. I say Sacramento because no one really knows where Yuba City is, but it's a town like 45 minutes north of Sacramento. And I moved to New York like 8 years ago, and I went to Marymount Manhattan College, and then I've been here ever since. The city has grabbed me and not let me go.
And how long have you been in the company?
This is my 4th year. So,
Yes.
yeah.
But, I was wondering if you could tell us about little Jacob.
Oh gosh.
Was he wild? Was he?
I was yes, not much has changed. No, I'm kidding. I definitely was an active child. I was realizing during the quarantine, I'm like, I used to do so much as a kid. Like, God bless my mom. Love you, man.
Yeah.
Watch it. She's probably still asleep. Love her. It's 3 hours different. Oh, there she is. Hey, girl. So she had me in like every extracurricular. Like, I was that gay that was in soccer and baseball and basketball, trying hard, wasn't the
Yeah.
MVP or anything. But so yeah, I loved doing like student government when in school. I loved being involved and like all of that kind of stuff.
Cool. Did you have
Uh,
a title in student government?
yeah, I did student government through like middle school through high school. So I ran for like different positions every year. So it was
Okay.
fun. It was like, I don't know. My favorite one was probably doing like the clubs and the elections. That was fun. It's probably why I'm like a little political now. It's polarizing, but I'm kidding. But so yeah, as a kid, I was pretty active, and like as I was saying, now we're stuck inside, and I'm like, okay, what are my hobbies now? Because like dance, it takes over your life. Your like hobby becomes your job, and it's like I need to know what else I love to do. So we just released a video. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, we did.
And I'm realizing I love doing things like that. I just different outlets are coming into my life right now to inspire me, I guess. So.
Well, speaking of videos, Jacob talked about a video because today is the Graham Company's birthday, 94
Happy
years old.
birthday.
And we just made a little video that's coming out today. It is out.
Yes, I just uploaded it on YouTube. I tried to put it on Instagram, but then it got deleted a second later. So,
Oh, they hating on it.
yeah,
Hating on us.
they're like, your video is blocked. So, sorry guys, we're trying.
No, but happy birthday, Graham Company.
Yes.
And there's so many events today, all on the YouTube, on the Instagram,
yes,
everywhere.
we'll be live
People
streaming
teaching,
tonight.
all about it. When did you get into dance? When did you get into dance?
I started dancing because of my sister. I feel like my and I would do everything outside of the room. And then one day the teacher came out and was like, I can do it. Can I go in? And she's like, I know, I can see that.
Oh,
And then I originally went into ballet, and somehow I got into like ballet, like folklorico class, like that, like
oh,
Spanish ballet dancing. And like,
okay.
swear to God, I'm like, I don't know if I've ever told you this. We had like these like knife dancing. Like I was like 8 years old doing like this like cultural like ballet folklorico dance, and then we did like paquita. And then we
Okay.
did like
With the knives?
no, that was like a separate ballet. Oh my god. Training, love. And then I started doing like jazz dance, competitive dancing, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, Paula Abdul. I'm kidding.
Work.
But yeah, then I made my way to college and I discovered Graham and I really loved it. It was so structured, but yet free. It was like that juxtaposition of like everything needing to be in its place, but being thrown away at the same time. And it's something I feel like I'm still discovering within the technique and within just dance in general.
Did you discover Graham at Marymount when you
I
went there?
did. My first teacher was Alessandra Prosperi,
Uh-huh.
and fierce, fierce Italian like lady. She was like, "What are you guys doing?" Like
Yes.
just
So
snapped it,
scary.
like so scared. I was like, "I don't even know," you know. And then I had Lona. We all love Lona Larsen. We're not
Hmm.
related, but we could be. And then I went into Graham 2, like right after school. And yeah, Graham 2 is hard. Those kids that are in Graham 2, that is like the best shape you're ever gonna be in. Like, oh, Virginia Whitson,
Truly,
love her so much.
truly a boot camp.
Yeah, right. But you really do. I thought about that. I was like, you dance like every piece. Like it is so beautiful because in the company, like we do dance a lot, but like that is like a crash course of Martha Graham, like
Yeah,
choreography and um, you know, the totality of the technique. And you're in the school at like 8 in the morning till like 7 at night, and it's amazing to see people change. You know, like
yeah.
I'm sure you've seen this being there and around the technique for a while, but because not everyone who comes to the school gets in the company, but you really do see people
Transform.
excel and like their bodies physically and mentally, like everything. It's so inspiring to see. That's one of the things I love about every year at the school. There's like this new batch of people. Like sometimes people stay 2 or 3 years, but I love that the turnaround kind of is so inspiring in terms of like the body evolution and mind and spirit that Graham sort of like forces upon you, you know?
Yeah. Did you always want Graham?
I I sort of did in the end of college.
Mhm.
I auditioned for the company and I got really close to the end, and then they told me to do Graham 2, and I was like, okay,
Mhm.
like we'll see. Like I was just trying to be optimistic about my life, you know.
Yeah.
And then I went to Springboard, which I loved. Springboard. It's a 3-week intensive in Montreal,
Yeah.
and super contemporary, and it was challenging because it's really much different from Graham, you know. And you're
Yeah.
composing a lot, you're creating a lot, but you're also, it's just very the organization of like your own mind and dance is very different than going to like a technique class or excelling at a technique. So I was glad I did that, but it also made me realize that how much I loved Graham and how much I felt, how good I felt doing it, like at the audition and then going to Springboard. And I was like, okay, I have to do Graham too. Like there's something
Yeah.
within me. So I'm so glad I did. But yeah, since then I've been really happy in the company. I feel like I've been given roles and they've started to trust me more. I've started to trust myself more. Janet said that in my meeting. She said, "You know, you made me nervous when you first got in the company." I said, "Me too." Like, me too, girl. Like, but no, it was funny. It was like it was a good thing to show like the evolution of
Yeah.
that trusting yourself only will that will radiate outside of your dancing, and I'm glad that it has shown a little bit.
What was your audition like?
My first audition was with Leslie. That's when like Leslie, Laurel, Souter,
Yeah.
Tim. We love Tim.
Tim.
If you're watching. Um, who are the other boys? Leon and Jordan.
Yes.
They got hired for Rite of Spring that year, and it was like intense. You know, they always have you do that part in Rite of Spring where you like
The
do the
split
split.
jumps.
Yeah, yeah. So everyone is like the music is dun, 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 you
It's
know, and
like the end of the day, the
end of
end
your
of the
life right
audition. Like,
there. My knees were bleeding. Everything was just like, I'm gonna die right here for this job, so I can just, yes. So it was really fun. It was intense. It was like 2 days, Saturday, Sunday moment. And then my second year, they didn't hire any. I don't think they had any jobs, but we did the audition. And then the third year I auditioned, I was already working part-time, but like it's just, I think, a sequence of events that when there's a full-time position available that you make yourself available. You show them that you want it. So the last year they let us all go, but I remember Denise coming back and she was just like, how she how
that
she
face.
does that. She's trying to tell you something, but she's not. And I'm like, hey, D.
I got it.
Yeah. And she had that moment with Alessio and I where she was like, I'm ready to push you. I'm ready to work. And I was like, all right. So we sort of knew. And then later, like a week later, Janet emailed both of us and we came in for a meeting. And I was like, Janet, can we hug?
Well, we were like so blown away that last audition, you and Alessio were like, bang! Like you came out like not playing at all.
Well, because we had already been working with you guys too, so I think that like mental shift within ourselves like brings you to a place where you're like, all right.
But it was weird, just because it was weird only because, and weird is the wrong word, but you guys are so good. But it was something about that day you guys walked in and like there was just a transformation that happened on that day. You were like, we're here, people.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
It was like Denise would always say in class, she's like, you just gotta walk in the room and say, deny me. And it's like that feeling where you just like drop your stuff and you're like, all right, deny me, like, because it's that feeling of like, this is what I have. And that's kind of what Graham is. It's like, you really have to be just like comfortable with what you are and what you have to like let the technique, not just the technique, because like the technique lives within you, but like you have to let it go. And that's what I'm sort of realizing. Like I said earlier, like the technique can only bring you so far. And then you kind of really do have to like forget it all and just trust that your body knows and like think of anatomical things, but I'm trying to be free. I don't know about you.
Oh, all right. Yes. I'm all free.
Right. But right, like when you watch like inspiring dancers though, like obviously the technique is like so important. We love a leg, we love a foot, we love it, like beautiful. But the more and more that I go see dance shows, I'm realizing that like I'm attracted to the freedom of people. Like when someone is just like free, like and my friend Zoe Anderson in Parsons, I don't know if you know her, blonde. There's a lot of blondes in Parsons, but
she's very perky. Yes.
Zoe, if you're watching, love her so much. She's so free. Like I saw her recently and I was like, wow, she's one of the freest people. And it's not like has nothing to do with the choreography or the piece, nothing. It was just, she was so free. And I was so inspired for myself of, wow, like that's what I'm drawn to, and I think that people are drawn to those liberties in life and freedoms in general. So, Zoe, we love Zoe. Alyssa.
Right.
Hey, Liz.
Well, now that you've been in the company for a while, and you've done a few things, what have you enjoyed the most? Like a favorite role or favorite piece to perform?
Favorite role, favorite piece. I always love doing pieces where you feel and this is like common for a lot of Graham pieces, but I love doing Rite of Spring because we're all on stage together. I think the pieces where we're that ensemble group, I'm really excited to do Acts of Light just because it's like, it is. And when I first got in the company, I said this to everyone, taking company class with you guys, like the first like 3 years, still like sometimes I'm like, oh, gotta practice my gratitude, I can't get comfortable. But like I remember just telling myself like this energy is so magical, like I have to like embrace this energy because the collective of like Graham and just like the beauty that you all possessed, like, and possess still, like I think that's what draws me to Graham, and the geometry, and like she's so smart, like simply smart, not like
Yeah.
trying to trick you smart, you know, like it's
Yes.
like it's like just it's there, it's clear, and it's like just it speaks for itself. So yeah, I love Rite of Spring, but personally, I this last year I did Appalachian Spring, and it's funny because when I first saw Appalachian Spring, and I'm sorry, don't strike me down right now, but I didn't love it when I first saw it. You know, I
Yeah.
was like,
Oops.
you know, like we're being real right now, you know.
Yes, yes, we
But
are.
the more that I saw it, and I was in the company, and I think just as I got older and sort of like grew up, and I wasn't just trying to be like wowed by everything.
Yeah.
I really appreciated it. And then when I did it, I was in rehearsal, and I was the understudy actually for Lloyd for Paris Opera, before Paris Opera, and it was literally the day before we left. And
I
Lloyd wasn't
remember.
there. The last hour, right before we go to Europe. Love you, Lloyd if you're watching. And Janet's like, "Oh, you're gonna step in." Never done it, never, you know. And I was like, all religions of the world were embracing me, the ground, the earth, the sky, everything. Like, I was just like, okay, we can do it. Don't forget the choreography, you know. And I did it, and I like cried a little bit during it, just
We
because
all cried. We were like,
like,
Jacob.
you didn't forget it. Because I was like, I just started.
Janet cried. Like,
I was so moved by the feeling of like synchronicity between music, and it's really an acting piece for I think the dancers, the followers are dancing work. But like, I mean, we have dance breaks, but it's a lot of like standing and like being a vibration, you know? So I feel like that sort of made me grow up and grow outside of myself, as like how I felt and how I performed, and like what I was exuding, because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't take this so personally. You know, like I need to stay in character.
yeah.
But when I'm on
No.
stage, I really do, like, I fall in love with Charlotte every time. I really like,
Oh.
there are moments when I'm like, Charlotte, I really loved you today.
Yeah.
And there are other times when I was like, girl, we went to Mexico, we eloped, and like we laid on the beach together. But it was no magical like wedding gown walking down the aisle moment. I was at the beach. Like I was like, yes, we're at the beach
Yes.
today. Like I told Janet
Yes.
that one time, and she was like,
Hmm.
just in one part I thought about it. Like, you know, like
Just 1 second.
the sun, like, you know.
Yes. Oh, well, we all clearly remember that day. It's on video, actually. We like
Yeah,
videotaped that day.
Alyssa recorded it, and she was she's like
Shaking as she's videotaping.
so funny.
Do you have a favorite dream role?
Oh wow. With
A
the
favorite?
Graham stuff, I
Yeah.
think I would love to do more like darker, like Greek tragedy roles. I not like now, but I would love to do like the drama of the shaman. I think you and Ben really turn it out. And there's this moment I'll always remember. Love, Mada, Ben, literally is the fiercest. The face just literally when he does that part, like I'm not kidding you.
It
It's like
transforms. Yeah.
like there's this moment before we do the big jumps, and he turns to the side and he would look at me, and I was like, he's scary, like
You're like
man,
ready to
like
go.
yeah, like yes, let's do it. I would love to do. I really want to do Night Chant as the company. I think it's a beautiful piece. Janet, if you're watching, being that in the universe, I would love to do. I don't know. There's so many, but they're also different. I'm not opposed to doing any of them either.
Yeah.
I also thought the other day I would love. I've been Yellow and Angels for like a year now. I would love to do like Red, I don't know about white. I feel like I give too much of like a youthful energy when I'm on stage. I'm
I
like,
actually can see you in any of the colors. You possess all those things. You could be
I
really
know, I am
calm
a
and
creature of
white.
love. I'm too loving. I need to like bring it down. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. The house. Thank you.
Just make that house, break that back. Just...
I feel like I'm more of like, like the Real Housewife of like, dun, dun, dun,
Wait, if you
dun.
were a housewife, which state would you be from?
Brooklyn. That's not like Brooklyn's a state, Bed-Stuy. Have you heard? No, I'm kidding.
In case,
Do
in
you
case you
watch
don't know.
Chowder if you're watching? um, yeah, no, it's so funny. It just makes me like it's the one of like few shows that I can just watch and like nothing else goes on in my brain. So sometimes when you get out of a long rehearsal day and you're like,
Uh-huh.
Martine, I see you. What's your tagline? um, it just makes me like tap out and it makes me laugh because they're just like so candid and I think it's hilarious.
Cool. All right.
But yeah.
Well, my next question for you would be now we do contemporary work.
Hmm.
So, do you have a favorite contemporary piece or something that you would like to do in the future in the company?
I loved Echo and I loved what's that piece where they beat you up in?
Rust
Yeah, I
by
understudied
Nacho
my
Duato.
first year. Yeah, she's like understudy everything, and I was like, okay, every part.
Just beating up all
This
the
one was.
boys.
Sorry, it's not that kind of live, guys.
It's real, but we said we were gonna get real. So
We did. I told you yesterday. I was like, I won't. I said I would censor, and then I was like, actually, no. It's fine. We'll be
wait,
real.
Jacob, do you have a favorite show that you've performed in so far that always it stays in the back of your mind?
Oh, favorite show. I loved honestly this past tour that we went on. It started a little tough in Dartmouth.
Oh,
It was cold. It was like sub below.
very cold. Yes.
And then going to California, we went to San Diego, and my sister lives there. And then my mom came, so I loved that experience of that tour. And just, I think anytime that my family's there, it's just sort of different for me, regardless of what the show like programming is.
Yeah.
But in terms of programming, what did I like the most? I don't know. That's weird because we do similar programs.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was
No,
I
no,
was
no.
really excited for City Center. I think literally like we would have been going to City Center like on Monday. No,
Hmm.
it's really sad. I was excited for that. I was excited to do Cersei
Yeah.
and and Andrea Miller, which hopefully we can like finish and show at some point next year, which I think we will. It's just
Yeah, no, we're coming back with a bang,
we're
baby.
still here. I don't know if you've been online, but
We've been working it out. We're in shape. We're
yeah,
still in
I feel
shape.
like I'm working a lot. Like it's
We
and
could do
sometimes
a
I'm
show
like this.
tomorrow.
What?
If they asked us, we could perform tomorrow. Like we
My,
literally could go in the tech rehearsal and be like,
yeah. Corporate America's thin. Sometimes I'm like working, emailing, and it's like 1 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, I didn't eat yet. This
yeah.
is skinny, like skinnier than dad. It's like, oh my god, like shoot.
Wait, do you have a favorite tour that you've done?
I loved going to Paris. That was the best. My boyfriend at the time went with me. Love him. Jordan, he's
Hmm.
definitely not watching. um, I loved that. We went from Paris to Romania. We loved and Cyprus, Bogdana. She was amazing.
That tour
I,
was epic.
that tour was just really fun. I really have been so blessed to have such a roommate that makes me laugh at every moment of the day, morning, noon, or night. Like Alessio truly makes me like cry. Like I'm crying at night because this kid is so funny. Like I can't even do him justice right now, but he really does bring so much joy to every tour that I've been on, because it's just, he's a riot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're really similar. We both wake up at the crack of dawn. It's like the sun rises and we're like, hey. Like, we're the
Twins.
first at breakfast, me, Saturn, and Janet usually. Just like, hey, it's early, 4 of us. Hi, Tosh.
Tasha's online, but
We
we
love
love
you.
you guys. I mean, you're literally always together.
We are always
Always.
together.
Sometimes dressed alike.
Yeah,
It's
that's true. I love that. When you guys gave us the nickname the twins, we were like, we looked at each other and we were like, okay, we'll take it. Like, you
but it
know.
pumps everybody up because you guys, it's amazing. You guys are amazing. No?
But thank you. We
So that tour was your favorite. Okay.
it was definitely a lot of fun. I don't know, I have fun on every tour. I feel like I sometimes feel guilty because we have so much fun. I'm like, working, working, working. We're working,
No.
you know. But I feel like we always like, not I'm not saying always like we rest on it, but we always are very professional as a group, I think, and like
Yeah.
come and deliver and are really nice. I love the stage. I always love talking to the stage people, and they're always so like shocked. I remember that, you know, I don't want to say the place, but I remember somewhere we went, they're like shocked that we were all so nice to the crew, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Like,
Yeah.
we love, you know what I mean? It's just like, you guys are here more than us. This is your home. We're like the transients here, you know?
And
Like,
they're putting on the show just as much
yeah,
as we are.
the
So
curtain would not go up.
yeah, you have to respect the tech crew always.
Yeah, right.
Huh?
So that was an interesting, when I heard that, I was like, we love you.
Yeah.
Come
Love her.
here.
What's your biggest inspiration for your dancing for
Biggest inspiration for my dancing. That is
or
tough.
in general for life? Like,
Recently, I've really been inspired by like society in general, what we're going through. I think like um just like politics really interests me. I think Graham is very political. I think um I've been reading more recently. I've been listening to a lot of music. I've
okay.
been trying not to watch TV or like mindless like Netflix shows or like just anything like on the television that
Yeah.
doesn't like actually like I want to watch. We just talked about the Real Housewives. LOL.
It's just okay. It's just
I
this
want to
one
watch
second. It's just 1 second.
it. um yeah, I've really, and also my, just like my relationships, I think everyone's sort of right now going through this phase of reconnecting with people and slowing down. And it's, for dance, I guess, what has helped me sort of like hone in. And Graham is like all like, I think it's hard to be in Graham without being like semi-spiritual, you know what I mean? It's like an energy and like a vibration. So
Yeah.
I think metaphysically, like that inspires me a lot. Like that, believing that we are like a vibration that we put out, and to, it's like a practice in your daily life. And I'm not saying my vibration is always great, but I try. And it really, I think it's like a practice. And when, I think it's relatable to Lona, when I was in college and I told her I wanted to be in Graham, she grabbed me by the rib cage, because I
Uh-huh.
always, ribs out, you know, sometimes they're still out. She grabbed me by the ribs and she goes, you need to learn how to walk with your ribs in. And that's when I kind of started shifting more anatomically, was when I changed the way that I thought outside of the art, you know what I mean? And you kind of like, I know it sounds cheesy, but you make the art sort of your life, and you sort of
Yeah.
like be it all the time, like that quote that like the life is a stage, you know. And it's like, you, in Graham, like she says, you prepare for the stage, like in class, like every day it's a stage, you know. So
Yeah.
if you're really like taking class out of the class, then you're taking the performance with you, you know. So it's like
Yeah.
that energetic philosophy of um yeah, yourself, and like radiating what.
But yeah, you see it in dancers when they're fully in it, and when they're not is
Yeah,
very
yeah,
clear.
totally.
That connection. Wait, we want to open some questions out to everybody out there. If you have any questions for Jacob, get them ready, shoot them out now. And then my last question is, what advice would you give to people out there they're trying to make it in the world, dance
Oh,
world?
in the dance world, I would say you are a part of as much of the dance world as you make yourself. I think it's like being a part of a community, like any community.
Hmm.
Um, it's so if like whatever your challenge is, whether it's geographic or you feel like you can't get into the room, I think it's like just showing up is half of the battle for sure.
Hmm.
And I think all physical and mental barriers can be like pushed down by yourself if you really want to, and if you really want to overcome things. And Denise always says it's like a willpower, and it
Yeah.
truly is a willpower. And I think dance is, it's not, it's interesting. Growing up, you know what I mean, like seeing people grow up, you think like, oh my gosh, like where are you now? Like, and some, not always the most talented people like make it professionally, because it is such a strong willpower and it's sort of a sacrifice that you make.
Yeah.
um and vice versa, they make sacrifices too. And I think if I were to give any advice, I would just say to like show up and to go to ballet, like young, stretch, sit in a second, stretch, like break the feet, no, I'm kidding. But um I would definitely say it is a lot, showing up physically and mentally, and not like being your own harshest critic. And dance is so natural because we look in the mirror every day and you see what you have to fix, because that's how you grow.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. That's what makes it so like dueling, and like a huge juxtaposition of beauty and like pain and like
Hmm.
growing and beating yourself down. It's humanity, like you're ripping yourself apart for this love of dance and to move and to show yourself. So I would just say to keep showing up to that and show up to like changing every day and not get stuck, because
Yeah.
it's super easy to get stuck.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We said, okay. Natasha has two questions. People, bring your questions, bring them out. We're ready. Natasha's first question is, if you weren't in Graham, which company would you want to be working with?
Oh, interesting. Like I love, I don't know if he has a company right now or where he's working, but I love Alexander Ekman.
Oh my God.
Give me that beat, the tap. I got a shuffle ball change for you.
I
Like,
want to dance in the water. All the
give me a
green
box,
balls.
give
I
me a
want all
prop.
of them.
I did that cactus piece, cacti.
So
Yeah,
good.
it was so good. I love him. His assist, I don't know if she's his sister, if she sets his work, but Anna Maria, she came into Graham like the other day when we were doing Pam, and I
Hmm.
was like, "What are you doing here?"
Hey.
Yeah, please come. Like, I would love to work with him. I think Ballet Flanders is beautiful,
Yeah.
Queen. I think Stocks Berlin is amazing, but there are like some ganked Trinas.
Trina's.
Um, but yeah, I would love Alexander Ackman, or obviously Pina Bausch. I feel like most modern dancers like would love to be in Pina Bausch. Um, there's so many. I feel like I
You
could just
have a
keep going
few. All
on. And
right.
yeah, Graham is
Okay.
not the end, but I love Graham, and I have no intention of making a fast dash out the
No,
door.
you're here for a
I'm
while.
here for a minute. Don't worry,
We
Janet.
gotcha.
I'm kidding. She's like, well, see about
Thanks,
that.
Natasha.
Thanks, Tosh. Love you.
Next question. When you are not doing Graham, are there any other classes you like to take? Also, any are any dancers recommended to take acting classes? But
Oh.
first question, what other classes do you like to take?
So I've been taking the Gaga people on Zoom, and
Hi, Graham. Hi, Janet.
oh, Janet.
She waves hi. Me too.
um, um, so yeah, I was kidding, but anyways, I've been taking the Gaga classes. I've also been taking. Do you follow Ryan Heffington on Instagram? So funny. Like it is a workout, and it is like, oh my gosh, I love it. He's
I
like
haven't done it though, but I've seen it.
he's like shimmy. He's just like moving around the room. He's like guiding you in this like sort of like social club dance, and then he's like he gets really close to the thing. He's like Nancy Pelosi claps, and then you just clap around the room, and he has these like pop culture like society references that I live for, you know. um so yeah, on in this time, yes, thank you, Liz. Hot yoga. I go to hot yoga religiously with Alyssa,
Yes.
in the Lower East Side at Fierce Grace. It's amazing yoga studio. Check it out. And was the question specifically for the quarantine or for like in general?
They just said they didn't say. I think it's
Oh,
just in
okay.
general.
But I was right before the quarantine. You know, I was thinking like I want to go back and take jazz classes. Like, I grew up doing like a
Yes.
yeah, you know, like
Yeah.
not that I want to do that, but like I want to like just go back and like feel it out, you know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, hot yoga I do a lot. I try to go to the gym, but who does your hair? This was a self-cut, Janet. How did it go? Honestly, there might be a spot in the back though. I was really, I was worried. I was like, oh shoot, like
It fits you though.
thanks. I
Love
mean, you guys
it.
are. I won't be on stage for a long time, so I can grow it out before then. But
People are just doing whatever they have to do to survive right
ain't
now.
it true? Like
So,
I. But yeah, I literally just use the thing that I used to shave my face. So.
I mean, I have a rainforest under here, so.
Hence the hat. Oh my gosh. Well,
Wait, Natasha had a second question.
oh,
I
let's hear.
hear dance can be really
I love it.
critical art, a really critical art form. How
Yeah.
do you deal with criticism in your life?
Well, I think that um I'm the type professionally, if I always tell like my coworkers, thanks Janet. I always tell my coworkers I would rather them give me the note than an audience member see it and like walk away with it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you see it, like my arms out. If I'm going on the 5, you're on the 6. Like back the legs, straighten it. You know, like tell me. You know, so those type of criticisms, I love it. Like, and
Yeah.
I feel like it makes my friendships my friendships have changed a lot recently in the company because we've been really honest with each other. Um, Alyssa, I love notes. So yeah, Alessio, Alyssa, myself.
But it's important. I always tell people, I'm like,
Oh,
please
tell
tell
me.
me if I look crazy.
Yeah,
I really don't want to look crazy.
yeah,
Please
and you
tell
know,
me.
Denise's job is that, but she also is looking for the artistic picture. So sometimes, like as a professional dancer, she shouldn't have to tell you that. Like for me, not even. You know what I mean? But sometimes you're just in the whirlwind of it all that you know, you just need reminders. And I've been
Yeah.
videotaping, and that really helps me too, because just seeing it visually changes
Yeah.
your feeling. And so how do I deal with criticism outside of my life? um what's that, Jinx Monsoon? Do you watch Drag Race?
From time to time.
It's like water off a duck's back. You know, I know obviously we all take criticism pretty harshly, but I think being a dancer, you get it so much that
Yeah.
like when you walk away from it and you like get criticism from like your friends or like even other people, I'm like, all right, spicy, let's see what you have to say. You have a
Yes.
personality, you know, like let's hear
Yeah.
it. Like, you know, my mom's a principal, and so sometimes she tells me stories about like kids that she's are in her office and such, and I'm like, sounds like a real character. She is going somewhere. And my mom's like, are you serious? And I'm like,
But it's true.
but it's true. Like, they have an opinion, like, and it's
Yeah.
not that like their opinion's right or wrong, but I like, like a 7 or 8-year-old, that's ballsy. Good for you. I don't know if I could do that, like what she does. Like, I would be, love her.
Natasha,
I love
yes,
her.
always.
I love the
Who
past lives.
who do you think you were in your past life?
I don't I don't know if I was anyone in particular. Sometimes, so when I feel like a lot of people probably feel this when they go to Paris, but I love Paris, and I feel like there was definitely a time in my life when I was there, and
I feel like I'm there every day in my head.
yeah, just like with a little cup of coffee and a little stove. Just kidding, we don't smoke cigarettes. But in my mind, and when I'm in Paris, yes, I do smoke cigarettes. I'm sorry, Mom. Like, but yeah, I definitely feel like places bring me to feel like I have a past life connection with things, and people too. There are some people that I am close with who, I don't know what it is, but my friend Grace in particular, like, we get together and not even like 1 minute, and we're like deep inside the matrix, like talking about life and like everything that I haven't been able to say, but we just have this deeper, and I do think it is a past life thing. I do believe in reincarnation and these sort of like Buddhist-ish things that lead on to the idea of like a transference of energy. I think your energy goes somewhere. It's dispersed and it goes, I don't know. Anyways, it's a whole deeper conversation.
No, but I love. Miss Tamisha Guy, fierce
Hi,
dancer.
Tamisha. Gorgeous.
Yes. Used to be in Graham, superstar.
Still a Graham star. I saw her
Right?
perform this summer and I said, you are Graham. Like, girl, if you
You
ever
don't
want to
play.
just come back. Like, you are fierce. Like, you got it. Sorry.
Tamisha
Anyways, I love you,
asked,
girl.
what are some of your self-care practices?
Self-care. So I, like, in terms of like my body, like mind and soul, I have been, I try to meditate. I feel like most dancers like try to meditate, whether you're just like laying there going to sleep or you're like oming. I
Uh-huh.
was really into the oming when I first got into Graham, and I feel like it really, like, I was trying to like, I didn't go out as much. Like, I was like in my apartment, like sleeping so I could like
Be there.
do my best. And like,
Yes.
I don't know if that's what gets you to do your best, but anyways, self-care, I definitely think that going to the gym really helps me. Just like warm up in the morning. If I don't make it to class, I try to go to the gym, even if I literally, there's a Planet Fitness across the street from me,
Yeah.
and people must think I'm crazy because sometimes I literally pop in for like 15-20 minutes and I'm just like,
You just
or
go
like,
crazy for
I
20
go
minutes.
crazy and I drip sweat and I grab my stuff and I leave, and like, I'm like, bye, and they like just saw me walk in, and I'm like, I work out all day, like, but I just
Yeah.
need a little like blood circulating through me. um Self-care, I definitely think it's important to have like, and everyone does, but I think it's important to like separate yourself from dance. That's like a huge part of my like self-care, to just like go and like have people and things outside of dancing. And it is interesting, my life in the past 2 years has become Graham because we're working, we're traveling,
Much, yeah.
so I've gotten a lot closer to my coworkers, which I love. But it is, and I heard this question in another one of your interviews, it is, I think it has gotten more challenging to maintain like relationships in terms of like just planning, because you like, all my
Yeah.
friends work, like they're working, they all have
Yeah.
plans and boyfriends, girlfriends, like they're living their life, so you really have to like schedule. Like, I have a
Yeah.
Google Calendar now, like I'm putting you in my Google Calendar, not for me, well, sort of for me, but for you,
Yeah.
like,
Well, yeah, you have to put in the work, huh?
yeah, it's like yeah, it's totally like, and when you're young, it's, you just assume that your friends are there, and now that you're older, it's rewarding to have like relationships and I love, that's why I love New York City, I think, because it's
No,
just like every day you have the possibility to meet someone amazing, and
no.
you don't get that everywhere. I mean, most metropolitan cities you do, but here I think it is like no other. That's why I'm so sad. Like I look outside my window and just like Bed-Stuy's pretty poppin' still, let's be honest. Don't tell Trump, Governor Cuomo. But there are still people in Bed-Stuy. We live here. But
Yes.
so yeah, city girls went home and we stayed uptown Brooklyn.
They are ready.
Yeah, no, I'm
You
kidding.
and Lorenzo
Yeah,
just
Brooklyn Queens, we're here. We're
just
biking
doing the
around
gram.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Wait, we have another question. What advice do you have for college seniors wanting to join a company?
Love. So I would say, I don't know if we're having an audition. It'll probably be postponed.
Hmm.
My best advice would be to it's not that you have to be in Graham 2. I at first was a little reluctant to joining Graham 2 because I went to school like I didn't need to do comp class and all the things that sometimes that they want you to do at the
Yeah,
school. And
yeah.
now they have other programs where you don't have to do that. You can just come in and do Graham 2, and Graham 2 is paid now. We were
Which
paid, but it was like, but like it was for per performance. So like they really
back
have
in
like
the day.
work Graham 2. Like we're promoting you. Like the audition is coming. But no, and on a serious note, I think Graham 2 was, like I said, the most amazing thing because you are crash coursed in every piece, and Virginia is amazing, and
Yeah,
you have to take class 5 days a week, and you know you really have no opportunity to not change because it will like boom boom right across the face,
yeah.
and it's amazing. So if my best advice would be obviously like if you're striving straight for the company, you type an email to Janet right away and you talk to her. What am I doing? Oh, but if you know, I think realistically, I mean, I don't know how you dance, what's going on, but you know, there are like people working here right now. I don't know who's leaving or coming, but it is definitely a place where you need to be a part of the community and they need
Mhm.
to know you. And it's just like building relationships in life. Like my friends in finance get internships in finance things. They have to be there for like 6 months, 8 months, and then they get hired as an apprentice. And then you get, it's the same sort of dynamic, but dance is very personal, so you feel like so you just want to get there, you know.
Yeah.
So just be patient. It will happen, whether it's Graham or whether it's something else. But if you feel so passionate about Graham like we all have been called to do, I think it is something to at least, if you don't want to dive in, just like put one foot in the pool and come to the summer intensive. Hey.
Take a little step.
But yeah, I do. I think you should. I think the girl she messaged me yesterday. I feel like or something. You should do it, girl. Like, why not?
Go for it.
Yeah. Greetings
Aw.
from Mexico. We love Mexico. And
Okay.
Janet, tonight at 8, I will be on the live stream watching from the Jacob's Pillow performance of Appalachian Spring. We hope that you're all there
On the YouTube,
on our YouTube channel. So yeah.
a lot of gram events
Yeah.
today. In
A lot
like
of events today,
in
yeah.
like 13 minutes, Alessio and
Oh
Matti are
yeah.
teaching the Italians.
I hope you're stretching because it's a hard class.
We also have another YouTube showing going on today at 2:30.
We do?
Yes, with the original
Oh,
Appalachian
yes, yes,
Spring
yes.
cast,
Got it.
and Therese Cacciatuli is going to be
Yes, I'm excited for that.
chatting. We have a
Janet
whole
and
chat.
yeah, that's
So,
gonna be an inspiring talk, you know? I
a
love when
lot
Grand
today.
legends get
Happy
together. You know
birthday,
what I'm saying?
Graham. Okay, now I have a flash round of questions for you, Jacob.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Yes, and we're just gonna woo.
Blue.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Favorite color, favorite song.
Right now,
Mm.
Hallucinate by Dua Lipa because I really want to go out. and dance
Okay. Yes, I
around.
know. Don't you miss? I miss
I
going out
miss it
so
so
much.
much. We were going out a lot together before
We
this.
were really hitting that step.
We were having so much fun together. Uh,
Wait, okay. Favorite
it
drink?
depends on what's happening, but I do love a Hendrix martini or just a gin and tonic, you know, botanical.
Yes, that's my thing. Gin and tonic. Do you snore?
I talk. I'm a big,
Oh,
I'm chatty. I
all
don't snore.
right.
I mean, I haven't got many notes lately, but I'm also alone, so um,
But you're a talker.
I'm a talker. My ex-boyfriends have definitely told me that I'm a talker.
All right. Favorite borough? Already know this answer.
I love Gowanus, Queens, like Brooklyn, like over, like by the water. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like near IKEA, like
Yeah.
right by Park Slope, sorta.
Yes. Oh, all
It's
right.
Brooklyn, not Queens, sorry. And I love, I love Clinton Hill, like Alyssa's neighborhood. So
Yes.
bougie and like so gorge. Big
Mm.
talker. Thanks, Ma, my mom.
Housewives.
Yeah.
Rain or shine?
I do love the rain, but I'm a creature of light, so I need the sun, you know.
Bus or plane?
I'm gonna go with Leslie and say a bike.
Mm.
Because planes have really been getting me lately. I don't know. I
I
can't.
know. I really enjoy bus rides, actually.
You do.
I don't know. I stare out that window and I'm just like,
You're like
it's just
Vanessa
there.
Carlton's playing, you know. I can fall. Anyway,
Wait, hold on. Dressy or relaxed?
I do love to get dressed up, but my style I've noticed is kind of more boring lately. I'm like
It's
plain,
not.
but I mean, just what it used to be. I feel like I was very gay, you know, like
Oh,
in my outfits, like
uh,
loud, not gay. That was a
all right.
poor term to use, you know. But go ahead.
Shower or bath?
Oh, shower. Could stand in there for all day.
Okay. Favorite movie?
um, favorite movie. I should have thought of these beforehand, huh? Favorite
No,
movie.
that's a, you know, it's fine.
Sorry for the non-flash. Um, can I come back to that one?
Okay,
No.
come back to that.
Okay, sorry.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite dessert?
Macaroons. I just bought the frozen macaroons from Trader Joe's.
Are they popping?
They're so good. Like I'm gonna buy like 5 boxes next time. Go ahead,
Okay.
sorry.
Favorite number?
9, maybe.
Okay. Biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve. Uh, I have a lame one. You know, like when people like when you put on the paper towels or like the toilet paper and it's like
Uh-huh.
flowing backwards instead of
Yes.
forwards. That really bothers me. I'm like, who did that? Like
You're like, don't you see this?
Haley. Haley. Like, no. Haley's never here. She has a boyfriend now, so it's like
Jacob's roommate.
yeah, we love you, Haley. She's
And
an
last
asshole.
question, pointed or flexed?
You know, I've been trying to break these biscuits for years, girl. I have. Where's that foot stretcher? That I have. But I'm gonna go with Les again. Les, love you, girl. She's not watching. Um, flex. I love that Graham. We can flex it. Sometimes Alessio's so funny. He's like, can you know that part in the Appalachian Spring before the lift?
Uh-huh.
The kick with the flexed foot. He's like, can you
Yes.
just point it for me? Just point it. Swear to God. So one
annoying.
time I went on stage and I like thought about it in the moment. So I was like, I did the Batman. It was like point flex. Like it just like freaked out. Like I was like, did you see what my foot did? And he's like, yeah, I was worried. And I was like, me too. Like me too.
You're like, thank you so much.
Yeah. Let's hope it didn't snap a pic in that moment. Where it's like in that
between.
boot. Yeah.
Oh, well, Jacob, thank you so much.
This was so fun. I'm so glad you like headed this project and decided to do this.
No,
Thank
it's good.
you.
I think it's awesome for everybody to get to know the dancers. So,
Yeah,
you
it is
know,
funny.
personally,
Yeah.
that's good. But I miss you.
I miss you too. I'm
Send
sure
you
we'll
a
chat
hug.
very soon.
Yes, for sure.
And
But
thanks
thank
for
you so
everyone
much.
watching.
And everybody, this is going to be up on YouTube, and everything's on YouTube. Everything's
Everything's
on the
on YouTube
Insta
now.
and
I still
YouTube.
upload my classes still. It's still a problem for me. I'm sorry, Jana. It's coming. But yeah, thanks everyone. Don't forget, watch at 2:30 and at 8 o'clock today on our YouTube, and check out our new video with the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. I'm trying
Yes.
to upload it to Instagram, but it's been giving me issues. So.
And Jacob teaches as well, so you can catch
Oh
his
yeah, I
classes.
teach on Fridays with Lorenzo. Usually, I don't know what day we're doing it next week, but usually
Yeah,
Friday.
look out for that. But thank you, Jacob.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. It was great seeing you.
Nice to see you too. Love you.
I love you too. I'll see you. How do I get out of here? Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Yay! Thank you everyone for watching again. Graham uploaded. Yes, for sure. But thank you so much for watching another episode of Straight Out of Martha's House. And as I said, there's a lot of events going on the YouTube, starting today with an original Appalachian Spring video, original cast of Appalachian Spring with a chat, live chat. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, there's also a video of the current company dancing Appalachian Spring from this summer at Jacob's Pillow. So please go on YouTube and check all of that out. Take all the classes on the Instagram. We have the classes on YouTube as well. So there's so much going on, and these interviews I'm trying to do every week. But we also have our GoFundMe page. The links are up in all the bios, and that's my plug. And I hope you guys are all well, mind, body, and spirit, everything connected, and sending out a lot of love, and have a good rest of the weekend. Bye.